Welcome back, you beautiful people. It is July 2023. Summer is in full swing. And of course, we're going to take a look back at what happened in June 2023, as well as where do we sit right now, year to date, halfway through the year in 2023. As always, if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that like button on the channel, subscribe, like button on the video, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with a bunch of real estate information, whether it's brand new listings before they hit the MLS or anything real estate related. And share this with somebody who you think might be interested in this kind of information. So jumping right into it, you can see the month of June, we sold 11.1% more properties in 2023 than we did in 2021. So woohoo! The average price was only down by 3% year over year. For the previous months, it was a much higher gap. So we're starting to sort of bridge that gap. You can see the inventory is still more than it was last year, but the gap again is getting smaller and smaller. The distance between the year over year numbers is getting smaller. Still sitting at 1.92 months of inventory, less than 2 months, so not as crazy as we were in May, but certainly a lot better than we had been previously. And it is still a seller's market. It just isn't as hot and inflated as it had been in the past. We need 4 months worth of inventory before we get to a balanced market, and we're nowhere near close to that. Year to date, we're down in terms of number of sales by 19.1%. We're down in terms of average price point by 9.4. I think those two numbers will continue to get smaller because during the course of the end of 2022, buyer sentiment started dropping as the interest rates went up. Similarly, we're starting to see interest rates go up again. Bank of Canada has increased the rates by 0.5% in June. We're expecting another 0.5% rate increase. By the time you see this video, it might have already taken place in July. The difference is the fixed rate changes have also been there, but nobody talks about them as much as they talk about the variable rate changes because the Bank of Canada putting out variable rate changes sort of collects a bunch of news. The average price month over month went down by $3,000, but some houses in that $600 to $700 range are really doing well with multiple offers. The buyers, though, are still sitting on the sidelines if they don't see a house that they absolutely love to jump on right away. You can see in the month of June, we sold 9.6 more houses than we did in 2022. And the average price there, you can see, went down by 3.5% versus 2023. The inventory level, again, we still have more. This is almost the same repeated as we saw on the combined side, but on the residential side, 2583 in terms of number of houses for sale. And if you look versus May 2023, it's only up by 300 units at the end of June. Very interesting. 2.09 months of inventory, so still absolutely a seller's market. Year to date, we're sitting at a decreased number of sales of 18.2% and a decreased average price point of 10.3. And the month over month actually showed a $1,000 reduction from May. But we typically start to see a bit of a summer slowdown. So we're expecting the peak of our market always to be sort of in May. That's typically what we see in Ottawa. Trickles down a little bit in the summertime as things get slower, picks back up with a bit of an echo wave in the fall. But lower prices in May. And, last year started falling faster than we were expecting this year to fall. So we're going to sort of bridge that gap, like I said before. And the mortgage interest rates going up will continue to, make buyers sort of confused. That's typically what we see. On the condo world, shifting gears here, number of sales up by 15.5%, average price point up by 2.1%. And again, this has a lot more to do with what we saw last year in terms of the prices falling than it does with this year, because the prices are only up on the condo side by $6,000 month over month. Last year, from May to June 2022, the average prices went down by $34,000. So you can see we only have a couple more condos for sale than we had in June 2022, but we actually have less condos for sale and we saw in May 2023 last month. And so this is that gap being bridged, and we're actually seeing it now as opposed to looking forward to it on the residential side. 1.42 months of inventory, less than a month and a half worth of inventory on the condo side. And the condo side is really being driven by the condo apartments, where they had seen a real drop off over the last 2 or 3 years because people didn't want to live in close quarters. Now, as people are starting to change their mentality, they're being more excited about going back into the downtown world, living downtown, living in condo style apartments. And we're seeing a jump up there. So you can see year to date, the total number of condos sold down by 21.6%. Average price point only down by 7.1. Okay, and another $6,000 month over month, and like I said before, it had dropped by $34,000 month from May to June in 2022. So it's a huge swing on a condo side, and we'll probably see the same thing, just maybe not as huge a swing on the residential side, moving throughout the rest of this year. So yeah, if you'd like to have a conversation about how all of this applies to you and your family, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you want to talk about real estate in general, if you're investing, of course, we do a lot of work with investors. As always, reach out. You can send a DM on the video, or you can reach out directly. The number is 1-888-REAL585. And until then, keep it real, collective.